My name is Kate McCallum. I'm from Canada, and I came to Envita for treatment for chronic Lyme disease. My aunt was one of the first patients and the first survivor for Envita. Her cancer was caused by Lyme disease. And at the same time that Dino was figuring this out with her and a lot of other patients, my mom was getting really sick from the time that I was about 12 or 13 up until she got treatment here when I was 16. But at the time I kind of started realizing that I think I had a few of the symptoms, and I went up to her and I was like, hey, I think I might have Lyme. But there wasn't still a whole lot known, and it was just kind of coming into the picture that this could be passed on to their kids. Every few years I'd be like, I really think I have Lyme. Is there any possibility we could go and see if there's something we can figure out? Because I was getting tested in Canada, and every time the public test would come back negative. And so it was just kind of, sorry, we don't know what it is, go deal with it. And they never went away, and I always had those issues. And it got to the point when things would pick up and things would get more stress on my life, and I'd go through college and stuff where there were 4 months where I maybe ate 800 to 1,000 calories a day because I would get sick every time I ate something. And I was sleeping 3 to 4 hours a day. I was constantly getting sick with anything that was around me. And there were a lot of other symptoms that were kind of barely noticeable, but those were the two big ones, and then a ton of mental health problems. Then this last few years, honestly, unfortunately, what happened is before I went to Africa for an amazing opportunity to go make documentaries, and that was in 2016, so 5 years ago, and I ended up getting about 4 or 5 vaccines to be able to go, and I got very sick afterwards and had a really strong reaction to them. And from that point, it kind of triggered more and more things because I think my immune system was just fighting off so much. It just kind of kept going on, and then about 3 years ago, I started getting really sick. And in this last year, it got significantly worse to the point where I would be at work and I would basically be passing out. And so it took me getting to the point where I was getting sick constantly, would have times where I had trouble speaking, I had trouble reading, I had trouble writing, would constantly be forgetting things and forgetting names and word blockage to the point where I've had some people even call me stupid for the fact that I couldn't remember stuff. Fast forward, and we had the opportunity to come down here and finally get treatment and diagnosis, and we were getting tested. I tested off the charts, in the top 5 to 10% of what they see in patients. Even though I kept testing negative over the course of 10 years for every test I did in Canada, which is just astounding to me. I don't know what they're even testing for at that point. One of the first things that we learned, from Dr. Warren, who's incredible, is that when you have Lyme, there's so many heavy metals that the bacteria holds around itself to make sure that your immune system doesn't recognize it, that it deposits those heavy metals in your brain. And those heavy metals go and clog up your neural receptors. And that has been the most liberating thing about this entire thing, is the fact that the severity, all of the mental health issues that have literally plagued my entire life and became a form of identity for me because it was all I had known, have really just been this disease wreaking havoc over me. It's just liberating to know that there's a future where I don't have to be this sick, where I don't have to deal with these mental health problems. There really isn't any fear here. There's no kind of suffering to that magnitude. It's just a lot of people trying to support you, and patients also coming together and supporting you. And the nurses, literally for a solid week, I probably cried on them every day. And so that was just phenomenal, have people come and just support you like that. I've had so many of my friends reach out and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. The best of luck, you're gonna get through this. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm partying. I finally have a diagnosis. I'm finally gonna get treatment. I had no doubt that Envita was gonna help me because I had seen them help every person in my family. And when I mean every person, I mean literally every person but my grandmother. I have other friends that are back in Canada getting treatment for Lyme disease. They are not getting the same treatment I am here. You're not gonna find this treatment elsewhere. It doesn't exist like this. And so I would just say do it because you're gonna get your life back.